So, thanks for being there. The show is Today with John and Helen, and today we mark International Day of Happiness. Helen has said I should keep a smile on my face. It's International Day of Happiness, and it's celebrated every 20th day of March across the globe.
And our challenge is to find the synergy between dealing with anxiety and happiness. And to help us are three amazing Amazons. First, Bukola, Lammed, a mental health practitioner who will help us navigate through factors which affect happiness. Then we will have Sylvia Mora, Muchabo, who is a humanitarian, among other things, and she will be answering many questions on how to deal with anxiety.
Yes, and of course, finally, Fero Shonuga will be coming in with Michelle Obatoyibo on raising boys and raising girls, all in the search for happiness.
Wow, so it's a great show, it's a happy show,
yes.
And our first guest is on Zoom.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. You know, we have...
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Just confirming that we can hear you. But before we come over to you, Helen, we're talking about happiness.
Yes.
On today's program. So, anything to make you happy?
Everything is making me happy.
Like?
Because happiness is not expected from the external for me.
Okay, it's from inside.
Oh, yes.
So when you go out and there's no fuel...
Oh, no. I just smile through it.
You smile through it?
Because it's a fact of life.
And there's no power supply?
There's no power for supply. Diesel is going up so high. All foodstuff going up in prices. Insecurity is still there.
Yeah, but we are happy all the same.
Some of our leaders are doing some imprintable things, you know, fighting in the public here and there.
Yeah.
But all through this,
just be happy.
Just be happy.
Be happy.
Just be happy.
Okay.
You know, just be happy.
So
Tomorrow will be better.
That's the message for us today. You know,
because
don't
we have
worry.
the gift of life.
Don't worry. Be happy. Okay. Yeah. Great.
And I'm excited. I'd like to hear the perspective of our first guest on what really is happiness and what makes her happy. All right. Okay. So welcome to the show once again. As we're looking at happiness as the theme for this year's International Day of Happiness, which is Back Happier. And our main focus is on dealing with anxiety. All right? And certainly the obstacle to happiness. First to join the conversation is Bukola Lammed, a mental health practitioner who will share her thoughts with us on this issue.
Yeah.
All right, and Bukola is already there. Once again, welcome to the show, Bukola.
Thank you very much for having me. So,
thank you.
Once again, happy International Day of Happiness.
Great.
That's what you call it, right?
Yes.
All right. So, you know, a lot of people talk about happiness and they don't really understand what happiness is. And I would like to talk from a psychological view, you know, because, you know, we need to look at it from the mental health view. I tell people every time that there's no health without mental health. If we don't look at a lot of things from a psychological view, we may not get the holistic view of what that particular thing is. So we are talking about happiness today.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't understand that our brain has what we call a negativity bias.
Okay.
So I'm going to come from there, you know, because you see a lot of people say, oh, happiness comes from within and all that, like what Helen rightly said now that it is not what is happening in the external environment that actually affects it's something that comes from within. But there's something within that is contesting the happiness that a lot of people don't understand. And it's called the negativity bias. So this negativity bias is in our brain and it evolved, you know, to react much strongly to negative experiences than positive experiences. So we have been wired to naturally respond to negative experiences more than positive experiences. I give an example. If you have a lot of money, for instance, the mind will keep you having the thought of, oh, I have a lot of money. What the mind will focus on is, I need to have more money. Because that is how the brain has been wired. The brain doesn't or the brain doesn't accept that things are working, because over the years we have evolved on what we call the survival skills. In the many thousands of years ago, our forefathers lived on these survival skills, and it helped them then to be able to survive the environment. So they are running away from things that can kill them in order to look for what they want to eat. So most of the time they focus on the things that would want to harm them rather than the things that they are looking out for. I hope you understand.
Yes, but you know what?
That that we are all talking about.
You know what?
There's
I'm going to jump
called the
in.
negativity bias that is contesting our happiness.
I'm going to
This thing comes naturally to us. So it leads us to focus on the worst aspect of possible outcomes. People naturally, or doesn't it happen to you, John and Helen?
It
you
does.
Focus on those things that are not working. That's what your mind, focus on. And psychology helps us to understand that what you focus on expands.
This is quite interesting, But you know what? We're going to jump in at that point and try and build up towards happiness, because as far as we are concerned, happiness is at the end of the road. Happiness can be derived from a number of things. And what we're focusing on as a build-up is, let's look at anxiety. Anxiety itself, manifests itself in a myriad of ways: physical, biological, and sometimes maybe spiritual and sexual. How would you describe anxiety itself? Anxiety.
Anxiety, is a feeling of worry. You're nervous. I want to break it down in a layman definition. You are nervous. You are uneasy about something. Something that has not really even happened, but because you already have a bias of that thing not happening well. So it's like you are having, you're taking paracetamol ahead of an headache because you believe that you're going to have an headache. So you are apprehensive, you are worried, you have a strong desire that something is not going to work. There's a recent study around Nigeria that a lot of people are developing anxiety disorder because of the environment, because anxiety is a result of environmental factor. So a lot of people are looking behind their shoulder, over their shoulder. They don't want to follow somewhere, So anxiety comes because the feeling of worry has been set in place. You are nervous.
Okay.
You have this increased worry about something that is about to happen to you in a negative way.
So it's an emotion. Is it an emotion?
Yeah.
Is it a feeling?
It's a feeling.
Okay, great.
It's a feeling. It's a feeling of worry. You are just worried. You're just anxious. You're just nervous. And there's this uneasiness about something that is not certain. So that is what anxiety is in a layman definition.
Okay,
And
so from your explanation, anxiety is bad. Is it positive or is it negative? Does it have any positive attribute?
Okay, so I'll answer that question this way. When you are anxious or you are feeling nervous about something, it's a messenger. Our feelings are messengers that telling us something is about to come. So you now have the power to convert it to negative or positive. Someone who is anxious about the examination, for instance, that feeling is telling you, oh, you have an exam coming forward. So you cannot necessarily say it's a bad or good negative, bad or positive feeling. What makes it bad is the approach, how you respond to that feeling that is coming to you. So it's either you respond that, oh, I need to read, my exams are coming. That's a positive approach. Or you are just unnecessarily worried. Oh, my exams are coming, and you're not doing anything about it. So you have addressed it in an unhealthy way. Okay. So we have the choice to, address issues. There is nothing like bad or good emotion. A lot of people misconstrue that fact. Okay. Anger is neither a good or bad emotion. It depends on how you address anger. Anger is telling you a message that something is about to be taken away from you, and you are angry. So what do you do with anger? So if you are aggressive about it, that means you are taking anger in a negative way. Yeah. But anger can come and send you a message and say, oh, I don't want this thing, and you address it in a healthy way.
All right.
So
that's the same
I
thing
like
with
the way
anxiety.
I like the
Everybody
way
feel like-
I like the way you've described it as a. Did you say it was a messenger?
Messenger.
It's a messenger, and I think what you're trying to tell us here is that it helps us to determine whether to fight or to flight. So that's the fight and flight syndrome that we've heard so many times, by
Number one,
professionals
call the
like you.
freeze.
So
Yeah,
now,
so
could
you
you?
freeze.
Yes.
Not doing anything at the end of the day.
Yes.
So you
So
just freeze.
would you with some people, achieving a high level of anxiety is quite effortless. It's like, the moment they see a little trigger, the rate at which they get to the height of anxiety is so quick. Why is it so? Are some people more resilient, or what is it? How?
Okay, so it depends on personality. We have different personalities. Every human is not the same. The way you address issues are different. And like what Helen said the other time, external factors, external stimuli, your environment, the way you were brought up, much more about upbringing. How have you been able to cope? What coping skills do you have? Do you have assertiveness skills? Are you emotionally intelligent? How do you interpret the situation that is coming towards you? Will go a long way in how you want to address it. So who are you? Personality goes a lot, generally we talk about people who are extrovert, people who are introvert. Some people are just generally, they see things in negative way, no matter how you want to, encourage them. That is just their personality. They don't see anything good coming to them. Even if they have everything in this whole world, they're already anxious that those good things are going to be taken away from them. And you will see people who don't even have anything. And they are, they are happy, so to speak, that they are fine. So it's a state of mind. It's a state of mind, and that is what we have to be very careful of. Your personality, who are you, before those things comes into place. And
right.
I give kudos to Nigerians on this, because sometimes when issues happen, Nigerians have a way of downplaying it, and they're trying to find a positive way to navigate it. But the issue about it is that most times when you repress your emotions and you try to downplay it, emotions don't go away until you address it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the issues that we have as Nigerians. So we try to shy away from it. We try to mask it. It's like we're trying to ice a cake that's already bad. The cake is bad, but we want to put icing, butter icing, and but the fact remains that the cake is bad. So at the end of the day, when you eat that, it worries you.
You almost answered my next question when you referred to us Nigerians and how, we take situations that are constantly in our faces and constantly trying to put us down. What are the dangers of constant or maybe endless state of anxiety? Probably we can say that's where we find ourselves. Today it's like this, tomorrow is worse. The next day it gets, nothing goes up and comes down in this country. And so the anxiety level is extremely high. What are the dangers, for family members and for the society at large?
All right. So, a lot of people don't know that too much of positivity is toxic. So the world has been orchestrated to have a balance of a bit of negative and positive to make it balanced. But we live in an environment where we have been bombarded or conditioned to believe that everything has to be positive. And that is not how life or nature has orchestrated it. There is a good and there is a bad, and it has to be balanced. But we have been conditioned to believe that, everything, there's a tagline where we say, pardon me for saying it, that it is well. And I tell people that, it's a cliche. When you say it is well, you're fine, you're trying to look at it from the positive side, but what exactly are you doing about it to make it to look, to feel well? It is not well, but we are hoping that it is well. But people just say it is well and they leave it at that. And that is one of the common thing about Nigerians. That's the way we have been wired. We have been wired to look at things from the very positive way. And when you are too positive, it becomes toxic. So we need to understand that high level of positivity can become toxic. We need to come to a place where we reduce our expectation. We have what we call expectation management. Manage your expectation. As much as you want something to go well, have it at the back of your mind that if it doesn't go well, how do you address it? But we have not been trained to have this, alternative mindset that, okay, what if this doesn't go well? How do I handle it? So we always think about everything must go well. And when it doesn't go well, we don't have the resiliency or the mindset to, to address it when it's not going well. So we crash.
Yeah.
So that is how it happens most of the time.
This is getting really
Talking
interesting.
about the plan B and the shock absorber.
Yeah, I know this is getting really interesting because now let's call a spade a spade. Things are hard.
True.
In this environment, especially, and if you lose it, if you're not able to manage your anxiety, you could go mad. Mental disorder could quite easily set in. Now, in your opinion, at what level or what level of anxiety do you think we are as a people? Right? Are we managing it well, or have we even crossed the threshold? Are we more mad people than sane?
So I would answer this with a definition. World Health Organization conceptualize mental health. So and the answer to that question, you're going to pick it from me. What is mental health? Mental health is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes their own abilities. That's number one. They can cope with the normal stresses of life. So what it means that there will always be stresses in life. You have to understand that the world doesn't come without stress. But the ability for you to cope to a large extent is you have a good, that means you have a good mental well-being, and you can work productively and fruitfully. A lot of people are on the edge already. They have passed that threshold of working productively. They are just, everybody's just working. It's just like we're just running on a show. And before we know it, a lot of people are going to break down. A lot of us are not able to make, healthy contribution even to themselves and their community. That's a good mental health. So what is happening right now? Are we contributing positively? Something happened recently where there was a physical whatever in the community, if you know what I'm saying. And I went to social media and I was seeing a lot of responses where people were actually, accepting what is not normal. And people are hailing a particular person and saying, oh, yes, it is good and all that. And that is giving me a message as a psychologist that there's something wrong, because we need a lot of emotional intelligence. You cannot respond negatively to a negative situation. It shows that you have low level of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is to address issues, and you are not hurting yourself or others. But right now, a lot of us are hurting ourselves.
We need to barge in at this point. Our time is well spent. But before we let you go, many people are watching this show today, and they are where we are talking about, at the point that we're talking about. So what would be your last word for them? Like, are there support organizations? Are there support groups? Are there places where we can run to when we are at the point of this anxiety that is leading to a breaking point?
The first thing about Nigerians is when I have one-on-one with people, I tell them you need to first of all have a self-awareness. You need to understand that this is where you are, because it is difficult for someone else to help you to address your issues. You need to accept your issues first. Am I anxious? Because you see, a lot of people are masking, and they are not living up to their reality. So the first thing, as every Nigerian, is understand where you are right now. And you have to be real with yourself. You have to be truthful with yourself. You don't need to mask your emotions. Like I said, emotions are messengers, and there are no good or bad emotions. It just depends on how you are responding to it before you even have to seek help. Because you need to understand that you need help first. A lot of you don't know that they need help. So first of all, have a self-awareness. Where am I? How am I dealing with what? Can I cope? If I can't cope, then I need to find somebody who will help me to cope. There is no big deal in reaching out to people for help. Please speak out, because a repressed emotion becomes very toxic and dangerous.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you
so much. This topic is not a 20-25 minute topic, definitely. We would find time to bring you back for a more robust outing. But meanwhile, thank you so much for your time. And we believe that we can achieve happiness irrespective of the obstacles of being deliberate, by being deliberate and contented. Contentment really is it for me. And the trick includes...
Intentional.
Yes.
Intentional.
Intentional. Yes.
Happiness
To be
doesn't come
intentional.
directly to you. You create it. You have to be intentional about happiness.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
doesn't come naturally.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, John.
So, we really do appreciate, our guest's shared experience. We want to thank her once again, and we hope, like Helen said, that we'll have her back on the show very soon. Well, please don't go away, because we intend to bring closer home the real stuff, dealing with anxiety. We'll see you in a moment.